Good morning. I'm Vasuki, working as an assistant professor in KSR College of Engineering. Today I am going to discuss about JDBC Java database connectivity. JDBC is nothing but it's an API. It is used to connect the Java applications with the database. By using the API, we can communicate with the database. It provides standard library for Java program to connect to the database, and we can communicate with the database by using SQL commands. For JDBC API, we need to use two packages, java.sql and javax.sql. For communicating with the database, we need this package, two package. JDBC driver. There are four types of JDBC driver available in Java. Type 1, type 2, type 3 and type 4 drivers. We need JDBC drivers to communicate to the database by using a vendor specific database calls. Type 1 JDBC driver, it is JDBC ODBC bridge. What it will do, the API calls the native API of the database to establish the communication. The JDBC driver translates the JDBC calls to corresponding ODBC calls. The main implementation, the JDBC will converts the calls to the vendor specific database call. Type 2 driver, nothing but directly it will communicate with the native API. Type 2 driver makes the call directly to the native API calls. It depends on the existing of a native API for database. There is no any intermediate layers exist. It is more efficient. There is a less layer exist in this type 2 driver. Type 3 driver, it has a middleware component. It will communicate with the middleware component and it will communicate with the database. From the client, it will communicate with the middleware. From the middleware, it will communicate to the database. Communication uses the database independent net protocol. Middleware server then makes the call to the database using database specific protocols. Middleware may use maybe a type 1 or type 2 driver to communicate with the database. Type 4 driver, it is a it is a thin driver. It can be used directly on the platform with a JVM, simplest to deploy since no additional libraries or middleware required for this type 4 driver. It issues requests directly to the database using the native protocols. Components of JDBC. JDBC consists of driver manager, driver, connection, statement, metadata, result set. The driver manager, it loads the database driver and manages the connection between the applications and the driver. What the driver will do, the driver translate the API calls to the vendor specific database call. Connection session between the application and database happens with the help of the connection interface. Statement, by using SQL queries, we will update, delete with the database. Metadata, information about returned data, database and driver. Result state, logic set of columns and rows of data returned by executing a statement. By fetching the columns and rows from the database, we use result set. Database connectivity consists of 5 main steps. First one, register the driver class. Second one, we need to create connection. Third one, we need to create statement. Then execute query. For communicating with the database, we need query for inserting and deleting. Then we need to close the connections. This is the sample program how we can establish a database connection. I have already told you we need to import SQL package in this program. Then I have created a class name MySQL. Here I am using connection for establishing connection. I am using driver manager dot get connection. Here I need to mention the database which I am going to connect and I need to mention the password here. Then statement, I have already told you, right? The first step what we need to do from the first step we need to create register the driver class. Here I am class dot for name. I am registering the JDBC driver. In the second step what I am doing, I need to create the connection. See, I am creating the connection by using driver manager dot get connection. Then statement interface for establishing the connection. Result state for fetching rows or columns from the database. Here I am using result state. By using the result set object, I am checking whether further data is existing. For reading the data from the table, integer data, I am using result set dot get int. Suppose if I want to read string, I need to use rs dot get string. Then I need to close the connection. For database connection, definitely we should use try and catch. Suppose if any exception occurs, we can handle it. Thank you.